everyone. So today I'm going to talk to you about the order of operations. These are the set of rules used to solve any math problem. Without this, there would be chaos as two people would arrive at different answers. I want you to try an example before I explain it. Here's the problem. 2 times 3 plus 2 times 5 minus 2. I'll give you some choices. Is it A, 38, B, 12, C, 48, D, 14, or E, answer not provided? Take some time to figure this out. Pause the video if you need to, then come back and check if you're right. Okay, let's see how you did. If you said D, 14, that is correct. If you didn't get 14, you didn't solve this in the proper order. Common error is that people will solve in the order that it appears. Here's an incorrect way to solve this. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 times 5 is 40, 40 minus 2 is 38. That's how you might have gotten the incorrect answer of 38. The reason we can't solve in the order we see the numbers is because the expression is not going to be in the same order every time. You're not always going to have multiplication followed by addition and so on and so forth. Every equation is different. By creating a universal set of rules, it provides order to the way we solve equations. Okay, so I can't go in the order I see, so what order should I go in? Should start with parentheses, or any form of grouping, then go to exponents, then go to multiplication and division. These two are grouped together. Whichever one comes first in the equation, you do that one first. Lastly, addition and subtraction. Again, these two are grouped together. Whichever one comes first in the equation, you do that one first. You might wonder why this is the order. I don't know an exact answer, but I suppose it's because when you have parentheses, it's usually separated for a reason. It's like a comma, it's an important pause, so you should perform those operations first. Multiplication often takes priority over addition, so that's why it's higher. Since exponents are an expansion of multiplication, it makes sense that it goes before. Division is just the opposite of multiplication, so that may be why these two are grouped together. Same goes for addition and subtraction. They're opposites, and opposites attract, right? Anyway, that's just a theory. Now you might want a way to remember the order. Here's a mnemonic device to help. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The start letter of each word in the saying corresponds to the first letter of the specific operation. Please, parentheses, excuse, exponents, my, multiplication, dear, division, aunt, addition, Sally, subtraction. Or you can just simply remember the letters themselves, PEMDAS. Now let's go back to the original problem. 2 times 3 plus 2 times 5 minus 2. Using our acronym PEMDAS, let's solve this. There's no parentheses and no exponents, so the first step we can do is multiplication. Start by multiplying 2 times 3, since that's the first multiplication. We get 6. We still have one more multiplication, so 2 times 5 is 10. There's no division, so our next step is addition. 6 plus 10 is 16. Lastly, we do subtraction. 16 minus 2 is 14. Here's another example. 9 minus 5 divided by 8 minus 3 in parentheses times 2 plus 6. The first step we do is the operation in the parentheses. So 8 minus 3 is 5. There's no exponents, so the next step we do is the multiplication division section. You'll notice division comes first in this equation, so the next step is division. You don't always do multiplication first. If you did in this case, you would run into fractions. Negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1. Now we can move on to the multiplication. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Now we can go on to the addition-subtraction section. Subtraction comes first, so our next step is subtraction. Again, addition doesn't always come first. 9 minus 2 is 7. Lastly, we do addition. 7 plus 6 is 13. Here's a harder example. 4 squared minus 8 times the absolute value of 11 minus 2 times 7, and the absolute value plus 3. Where do we begin? Absolute value is another form of grouping. So we want to perform the operations inside first. we follow the order of operations within grouping. So first step to do is the multiplication inside. Negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Next, we do the subtraction inside the absolute value. 11 minus 14 is negative 3. We finished all the operations inside, so the next step is to take the absolute value. This is part of the parentheses stage. Absolute value of negative 3 is 3. Step 4 is the exponent. 4 squared is 16. Step 5 is multiplication. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Next step is subtraction, since subtraction comes first. 16 minus 24 is negative 8. Lastly, we add. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. Here's one more example. 10 plus negative 2 squared divided by negative 1 minus negative 3, and that whole thing plus 2. You have to simplify the top before you can do anything else. It is essentially like there's parentheses around the top of the fraction. So let's do the exponents on top first. Negative 2 squared is 4. Now we add on the top. 10 plus 4 is 14. Now let's move on to the bottom. Negative 1 minus negative 3 is 2. Now we can do division. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Lastly, we add. 7 plus 2 is 9. Now, you might ask yourself the age-old question, when am I ever going to use this, and why is this important? Here's how this applies to real life. Suppose two classes are going on a field trip to the zoo. There are 30 people in one class, 25 people in the other class. The teachers want to order lunch for all the students, and in each lunch they want there to be 3 packages of crackers. How many crackers should the teacher order? So, here's how you would set it up. There's 30 people in one class and 25 people in the other. We want to combine those two, so we add them. Each lunch has 3 crackers, so we multiply the whole thing by 3. First step we solve is the operation in the parentheses. 30 plus 25 is 55. Then you would multiply 55 times 3, and you get 165. The teacher should order 165 packages of crackers. So the teacher used order of operations to figure it out. Here's what would happen if the teacher didn't use order of operations. You'd set it up similar. You'd want to combine the two classes by adding them, and they would know they would need to multiply by 3. However, they didn't multiply this whole thing by 3. So they would first multiply 3 times 30 and get 90. Then they'd add 90 and 25 and get 115. Not doing order of operations results in there not being enough crackers for every student, and some kids would be unhappy because they got less. Order of operations is important so everyone can get an equal amount of crackers. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.